because no matter where you live in the world, you have, if you don't already live in Nigeria or Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, any of these nations, we have people who are and who do. So, over the week, I've been going through quite a lot of stuff, and I had something prepared that I really wish to share with everybody. Now, my word for today, as I have put it on the group chat, is responsibility. Now, today we're going to talk about responsibility, and we're going to ask ourselves, what is our responsibility with regards to security in our surroundings and in our community? What exactly is our responsibility? Now, security is not a task for a few. It is a duty for all. From our homes to our digital spaces, every responsible choice contributes to a safer Nigeria and a stronger Africa. Together, we build the global cluster's vision of shared prosperity and lasting security. And that's my word for today. Now I'm going to go over to Master Genie, Kylie, I'm going to ask you, Kylie, what do you feel as a member of the global clusters, as an African, as a Nigerian, what do you feel is your responsibility to your people, your community, where security is concerned? What do you feel is your responsibility? Welcome. Yeah, it does. It actually does. In a big way. We're all responsible. We're all responsible where security is concerned. I know a lot of people seem to think, yes, you go into a building, you've got security officers working there, and they're going to look after you. Yeah, that's possible. But the question is this, right? Who looks after them? Right? Who looks after them? We have to remember that security officers have a job to do. It's a hard job. It's a very, very hard job to be a security officer, because you've got to please everybody, right? And in some cases, displease yourself, because you're going to have to make decisions that you're not very happy with and that other people are not going to be happy with. So, it's a very, very hard task. But saying that, and knowing the task at hand, right? I mean, even the global president, he has a job. He has a very, very hard job, in the sense that, as Yoruba people would say, bringing together Ori Tutuati, Ori Bigbe, right? It is a very, very hard task. It's not easy on anybody or for anybody, but at the same time, sometimes we have to shut our eyes and grind our teeth in order to get results. And this is what champions do. And one of the terms I would like us to start using for ourselves today is, we're not just members of the global clusters, we're global citizens, right? We are global citizens. That's who we are. Now, I'm going to go over to Olayinka. Excuse me. Olayinka, what is your take, or what is your opinion or your view on responsibility in the world of security?
Those ideas were very good, and to me, we will need to try more on this security, because if you take the security very important, the responsibility of this security very important. It will also help everyone. Yes, this security also is not so easy for people too, but we need to try our best.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You know, I like that answer, right? I absolutely love that answer. But what we you see, you know, as I said earlier on today, today's today's word, you know, or our day for today, our word for today is responsibility. You know, responsibility. We walk out of our houses every day. You know, my my beautiful sisters, you know, my mothers, you know, my daughters, you know, they walk out into the streets every day looking as good as they can, as best as they can. You know, with the mindset of, you know what, it's a brand new day. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to conquer the world. You know, I want to be successful. I want to be the best version of me that me can find, which is fantastic. But here's a question: whilst you're trying to look good, you know, trying to feel good, you know, how much do you think about, right? As I'm going out there today, right? Am I putting anybody's lives at risk with my looking good? You know, am I thinking about the environment? Am I thinking about my surroundings as I'm walking down that street, minding my own business? You know, what sort of steps should I be taking in order to ensure that not only am I looking good, but I'm also safe in my looking good? I'm gonna throw that one back to Master Genie. Master Genie, what would be your take on that? Hmm. Hmm. I totally agree. I totally agree. Now you know, um, how can I put this? Now we are a growing organization, right? A seriously growing organization. We are definitely moving mountains at the moment, right? Even though a lot of people don't seem to realize it. You know, this global clusters entity is becoming a massive thorn in the side of some people, even though Dr. Badmus doesn't realize it, you know, and it is also a double-edged sword for a lot of people because they've joined, you know, they've dragged their feet and they've watched the global clusters grow and go from strength to strength. Now, those of us who are pioneers of this this entity, this organization, right? We know what we are in for, and whether people want to accept it or not, we're not just members of global clusters. We're members of every single cluster. That's the reason why you see people like myself. I've actually joined up to most of the hubs, most of the clusters on the global clusters and on Spark hubs. Why? Because of the fact that knowledge is power. Now, a lot of you may not do security as a job or a profession. You may not be involved with security as is, but the bottom line is that security concerns everybody. Exactly. Security is not easy, right? It is not easy, and that is the reason why for what a lot of these guys and girls get paid, right? People need to take their hats off to them, you know, and respect them, because they have to take abuse. You know, they have to be resilient. You know, they have to be forthcoming. They have to be respectful. You know, they have to turn the other cheek, as the Bible would say. You know, but at the same time, they've also got to be assertive. You know, and security is one of those professions. I won't even call it a job. It's a profession. You know, for me, it's a passion. But for it is a profession for me, but it's also a passion. But to a lot of people, you know, who have no work, you know, they find themselves in a position of unemployment. They, in this country especially, they go and get a job as a security officer. You know, it may not be the same in Nigeria or other African countries where they look down their noses at people who do security, but it is actually a profession. You know, I will go as far as to say, like, you know, someone like myself, I am at present doing professional qualifications in security, you know, to become a chartered security manager. You know, I mean, yes, in Nigeria, people run towards becoming a chartered accountant or a chartered this or a chartered that. I'm moving further and further to becoming a chartered security manager, you know, which puts me in the higher echelons of the security world, you know, and, you know, the courses aren't cheap, of course, but the thing is, it puts you in a position whereby even if you do not work in the field, you have a vast array of knowledge. I want to say I recognize the entrance of Otumba, Finland. I don't know whether you're in Finland, but yeah, welcome on board this platform. It's good to have you here. I hope you are well. Are you there, sir?
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Excellent morning to you. Yeah, I'm going to ask you today's topic, so to speak, is responsibility. Today's it's responsibility, and responsibility in the sense that as a person, as a human being, as a citizen of the world, what would you say is your responsibility to mankind where security is concerned? You know, what would you say, you know, as you go about your daily living? What would you say you could be responsible for in terms of security? It looks like I've lost him temporarily. He's probably in a bad network area. But anyway, I digress slightly. But yeah, you know, we have to, right? We have to up our game, right? When you buy a car, and you feel that your car isn't performing well, you go out and you get it re-MOT, you get it resurfaced, and you get it back on the road. As citizens of the world, as global citizens, what we endeavor to do, right, is to update ourselves. Because I mean, not all of us are accountants, but you keep abreast of what goes on in your bank accounts or your business accounts. You know, not all of us are mechanics, but we seem to or tend to want to know how our vehicles are performing. You know, a lot of us are business people. You know, we want to keep abreast of what's going on with our business, and it should be the same with security, right? Because security, whether people want to accept it or not, right, is a global phenomenon, right? It is something that concerns everybody, right? Not all of us are police officers, but you keep your eyes out for crime. You know, not all of us are firefighters, but we go out there and we get fire trained so that we know what to do in the event of a fire. You know, not all of us are doctors and nurses, but we try to know what the right thing to do is in an emergency or a first aid situation. And it's the same with security. You know, you don't have to be a security guard. I mean, like my brother Coyote, Master Genie, just said he's tried door supervision, you know, and he knows it's not easy, right? It's not easy because door supervisors generally work at clubs and events. And when they're at these clubs and events, you get all sorts of people coming in. You got people who feel entitled, you know, they've got a bit of money and they believe they can talk to you anyhow or talk at you. You know, you've got women who use their gender, you know, to try and get away with things that they're not supposed to. You know, you've also got females who, because they're females and they can see that it's an all male team, right, will help their male friends to bring in things that they're not supposed to because they know that the men on the door cannot touch them physically. So, you know, all these things have got to be taken into consideration. And this is where our responsibility comes into it. You know, we have to think at all times the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do, and the unacceptable thing that we do or we try to do, right, and try to get away with. You know, now I give glory to God that over the last 3.5 decades that I've been around some of the best security male and females that the world of security has to offer, both here and abroad. You know, and with all my knowledge, I've picked up, you know, a lot of ideas, a lot of skills. You know, even in Nigeria and amongst Nigerians, you know, and it has been an absolute pleasure, you know, because like I said, every day is a training day, which is one of my most favorite quotes from movies with regards to my field. And I call upon people all the time that, listen, you know what, even if you're not going to work in the field, at least go and do like Master Genie did. You know, an SIA qualified course, and that's if you're here in the UK or the equivalent anywhere else in the world, just to find out about what we guys in the world of security either have to go through or what we know or how we do things, you know. But you know, because I look at it as these things will help everybody, right, in their quest to be safe and secure. At this point, I'm going to bring in Dr. Badmus because I know Dr. Badmus, ever since the first day I met him, you know, he's taken a big interest in security. And of course, he, you know, being, you know, he may not be security qualified, but he is, you know, definitely on the board of the global security clusters. Now, as one of the directors of the global security clusters, Dr. Badmus, what is your take on responsibility within the world that we live in a security view? Dr. Badmus. He's probably still in another meeting. Anyway, we'll continue. Master Genie.
Hello, sir.
Oh, there you are. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I have been in a meeting. What's the question?
I know. Are you free now?
No, I'm not that free, but let me hear the question. If it's something I can easily answer or it's something I will come back to.
Yeah, sure. The question basically was, as you can see, that you know, the word chosen for today is responsibility, and I've put it on the group chats everywhere. Now, basically, it's this: as a global citizen, because that's what we are now. You know, we're not just members.
Of course, of course.
Yes, we're not just members of the global cluster. We're all global citizens now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is our responsibility as global citizens to, as we look out for everything else, to look out security-wise for ourselves. But what would be your take on that?
All right. Actually, as a global citizen, security, as you all know, is everybody's responsibility. You know, everyone needs to watch out for itself and look at how you take care of your own self, you know, security-wise, and put together all your security precautions and all of that. Again, that is the reason why we created the global clusters, because for security, I remember when we started putting together the global clusters, and I met now Mike GBENGA, OSHIN, retired, and anytime we go out, we say, ambassador, this is not how security is done. So people need quality and accurate knowledge of how security should go. You understand? I was talking to the global CTO this morning, and he said, oh, there's an environmental in Lagos last Saturday of the month. And, you know, it's funny that, you know, we do that, and at the end of the day, before today ends, that cleaning that they did will be rubbish again. You understand? Instead of implanting the cleaning culture in the mind of the people, you understand? We're now doing environmental once in last of the month, that we, even before the next Saturday, the last Saturday, the next last Saturday of April, we will have rubbish everything that we have done. You understand? So security should be the quality and accurate knowledge of what security is all about should be print in people's mind. People should understand how they can do that. Like a global citizen, how do you protect yourself? You too, you need to submit yourself to that knowledge. Everyone needs to submit themselves to that knowledge to be able to like protect themselves. I think that's my take on this month.
Yeah, thank you very much, Your Excellency. You see, over the last few months that we've been doing this live chat on a Saturday, you know, it has become evident, not just to myself, but to quite a few people, that a lot of people don't really understand the role that security plays in society. And this is the reason why the word for today, be responsibility, is so appropriate, in the sense that people need to be made to understand that the security of your environment, the security of your community, the security of your culture, your people, your nation is not just on the soldiers or the police officers or the security officers. The responsibility of the security is on every one of us, right? It's on every one of us. You know, there's a lot of words that could come to mind. You know, vigilance, awareness, you know, assertiveness. You know, all these words come into play simply because of the fact that, you know, missing one little bit of detail could cost a lot of people a lot of things. And this is why having the knowledge of first and foremost, you know, when we were in school, a lot of us did subjects like geography. Now, I remember when I was a lot younger and I used to hate geography. I used to hate it with a passion because I didn't see the point. You know, I didn't see the point. But I think a lot of people will agree with me that as you grow older, a lot of these subjects that you are taught in elementary school and senior school, they kind of like creep up on you, that and you start asking yourself, why didn't I pay more attention to this? You know, I mean, geography is there, languages, you know, French, German, Spanish. We never saw the point. You know, we never ever saw the point. You know, subjects like history, we never saw the point. You know, but today, in today's world, you know, we're all out there. As I said, we're global citizens. And as a global citizen, who knows? You know, you've got Dr. Badmus, who's already an ambassador, and he has to travel around the world, you know, to go and talk to people. You know, that comes under geography. You know, who knows? Tomorrow, Master Genie, you know, could be contracted somewhere else in the world to come and do some kind of work, you know, related to his field. That all comes under geography. But then we've also got the languages aspect, you know, where, you know, Master Genie might end up in Dubai, you know, and he'll look at it as if he spoke Arabic. You know, he could relate to a lot more people out there, you know, because of the fact that he would speak to them in a language that they would better understand than English, you know. Or, you know, I could get sent out to somewhere like Spain or even Russia, you know, or Japan, but I don't have the linguistic knowledge, you know, to be able to express myself the way I would want to. You know, so all of these things come into play, and this is the reason why now, in this day and age, security is very, very important. You know, I'm not just talking about the guy in the bright uniform that's standing up in the corner or standing up at the door. You know, I'm talking about your financial security. I'm talking about your cyber awareness. You know, I'm talking about your personal security. You know, both in your mindfulness and your well-being. You know, all of these things are very, very important. And this is the reason why the word responsibility comes up today, because of the fact that a lot of people do not know their responsibilities where security is concerned. You know, just waking up in the morning, right? Are you aware of what your surroundings, your environment looks like now? Did it look the same when you went to bed last night? When you stepped out of your chambers, your bedroom, your living room, is that room you just stepped into, is it the same way it was yesterday or a few hours ago? You know, are you aware as you stepped out of your house of people watching you or watching your movement? You know, these are all your responsibilities. Are you aware, or, you know, did you see that bag that's on the floor? You know, did you notice that there's something by your house or by your car? You know, when you go to jump in your car every day, you know, does the car look the same as it looked yesterday? You know, or the few minutes ago when you left it? You know, little detail, attention to detail is very, very important. And these are the things that we find ourselves talking about today, because Dr. Badmus has, you know, he has been talking to me a lot over the weeks, you know, and we have talked about stepping things up. You know, yes, we're going to come in and have informal chats about, you know, how we see the world, what's going on, you know, have our debates about the rights and wrongs of society. We are, but we're also going to be talking about things that are very, very important, you know, and the things that are important now at this stage of our chats, you know, pre-launch of the global security clusters, is we need to start feeding ourselves with the fruits of that which is going to take us to that next level in our knowledge for security. This is all before we start having the webinars and the face-to-face sessions, you know, and the master classes, etc., and so forth, you know, whereby we start to learn how to go about things in a proper security manner, you know, how we can be our brothers and our sisters keeper. Yes, let power breathe. I see you. I acknowledge your presence. Good morning, and thank you for coming on board on TikTok. Thank you very much. Yeah, guys on TikTok, please don't forget, keep tapping, please, and don't forget, I've got a heart above my head. Please click on that heart. Let's keep this platform going. Let's keep it open. You know, let's keep sending the message out there to everybody, because we are the global clusters. We are, you know, we are who we are. You know, entrepreneurs and technocrats. You know, and we're still trying to send out that message to the world especially amongst Black people, especially amongst Africans, especially amongst Nigerians, that we are here to grow. And, you know, as they say in this part of the world, the only bad man I know is the man who has put himself out there to grow and make something and be something and help people out there to grow accordingly. Anyway, as I carry on, you know, this is us. You know, this is us. This is we. This is what we do. You know, and I really would like to see, you know, especially when I come to Nigeria, that whenever we decide that we want to have that big hall meeting, you know, to discuss the way forward, not just about the global clusters, but also, you know, with regards to how we grow this organization in every single field. Because remember, as the 001 global security clusters of the global clusters, I'm involved with everybody. You know, I'm involved with the ARE project. I'm involved with the you know, the mind surgeries up and down the whole organization. You know, because my eyes have got to be everywhere. I have to look after everyone and everything. You know, if something takes a turn for the worse, His Excellency has to call on me to get my take on how we're going to do these things. And it's a massive responsibility. But the thing is this, the responsibility, even though it ends up on my head, because they say uneasy is the head that wears the crown, but it also falls on you to keep your eyes and ears open as to, you know, as to whatever is going on around you. And in most cases, report it. You know, I know that at the moment, you know, people have, you know, the bee in their bonnet about the police in Nigeria and sometimes the police in the UK, the police in America, you know, the police all over the world, because the police are who they are. That's, you know, it's a profession that I got into earlier on in my life. It's a profession that I love, even though I would love to see it done a lot better, you know, and for people to step up. But at the same time, right, one of the things that I got involved with when I was in the police in the United Kingdom was the Safer Neighborhoods Project. Right now, the Safer Neighborhoods Project is basically, you know, us as police officers going around neighborhoods, and you as citizens, right, coming to me and my colleagues in confidence to give us a little intel into things that you don't think are right, and for us to help you proffer solutions. And that's basically what it is. Responsibility. Because why? I don't live in your neighborhood. You do. Right? I don't live in your neighborhood. You do. So you are responsible in your respective neighborhoods for what happens and when it happens. Now, when I say you're responsible, what I mean is this. If things are good in your neighborhood, right, it's because of you. If things are not so good in your neighborhood, it's because of you, right? The job of security or security personnel, right, or security interested people is basically for us to come in and help you sort out what you think needs sorting, right? Or speak to whoever you feel that we need to come and speak to on your behalf in order for you to be able to live a happy life or a safe life. But if you say nothing and you do nothing, then we have nothing to do, right? So, you know, it is your responsibility, right? As friends and neighbors, it is your responsibility, I say again, as citizens, right? It is your responsibility as a community to reach out to security, right? And security personnel and let them know what's going on and what you would like the security personnel or the security division to do for you and how you'd want it done, right? Whether it's for us to call a gathering, right? And listen to people's points of view, because I tell you what, 60% of security work is all about listening, right? It's all about listening. It's all about opening our eyes, you know, to what's going on, right? Is to listening to what you've got to say as a people, right? And when we hear what you have to say and how you say it, right, then we go away and we come up with a solution, right? That way we avoid conflict, right? We avoid bad blood. You know, we keep everything in house and everybody stays happy, right? That is our responsibility as a security division, and we, you know, by the grace of God, will hopefully be able to proffer solutions to every and any problem that may arise from whatever it is that you say. Philip, how you doing? It's good to see you.
Good morning, sir. I'm fine.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Good. I'm gonna call again. Right now, you got two Can you hear me?
I didn't get that.
Can you hear me?
No,
Yeah,
sir. Hold on, sir. I'm coming, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yep. Oh, that's a lot better. Right now,
Okay.
my
I
quick
want to get a piece.
today's watchword is responsibility.
Okay.
Now, what I would now, you know, the question I'm going to put to you is, as a global citizen, what would you say is your responsibility to your community, where security is concerned?
Okay. As part of the global community of the global clusters, and as far as security is concerned in my area, one, I need to be vigilant, and when I see anything suspicious, I need to create awareness. I need to carry out the I need to carry the community leaders along, or it depends on the situation. If it's something that I might need to escalate or tell the landlords or tell the community leaders about it, that I noticed this in the community and they need to pay attention to it, because anything that is life threatening or property threatening or anything that will affect us as a community member generally, we need to call people's attention to it so that everybody will be alert and people can start looking towards that direction. I will give an instance. Maybe you are in an environment whereby everybody knows each other, but then you notice that there is a strange face in your street and the person is just walking around helplessly, looking for what is not missing or trying to behave strange in a funny way. Is either you politely ask the person that, oh, sorry, do you need assistance? Are you looking for someone? But situation whereby you just overlook it. That person might be a spy. That person might be someone that is looking for how to penetrate by the time they are trying to come back to strike. So by the time you ask questions, the person will be like, oh, I think this environment, people are alert here. I don't think we can do anything here because they are challenging us. So that way, we know that I don't even know how many people that has been observing my movements ever since I entered this street. So that way, it's going to help in a little way, and that's part of my responsibility in wherever I am. Whenever you see anything suspicious, you ask questions or you call attention of the higher authorities around and just give them the hint so that everybody will be on a red alert. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
No, thank you very much.
You see,
You see,
I'm going to agree with a lot of what you
agree
said,
with a lot of what you said,
because obviously you've
because
covered
obviously
awareness,
covered awareness,
right? And awareness is a
right? And
massive
awareness is a
responsibility.
massive responsibility.
You know, because sometimes you could
because
be in a
sometimes you could
community
be in a
where
community
people,
where people,
especially African people,
especially
when they
African
see that
people,
you're going
when
above
they see
and
that
beyond,
you're going above
you're a busybody. But you know, being a busybody isn't always a bad thing.
isn't always a bad thing.
If that being a
If
busybody
that
is
being
going to
a
save
busybody
lives,
is going to save lives,
you know, and this is one of the major responsibilities. Security is the field where you're looking out for lives. So you know, we're talking about responsibility simply because of the fact that over the last few months now, you'll find that there's a lot going on in the world, and we are having to take responsibility for a lot of the things that are going on around us. We can't keep blaming, you know, because it's so easy to play the blame game, right? But then do we sit back and we ask ourselves, so this has happened, what part did I play, right? Not in preventing this from happening, but from enabling this thing when it was happening. What part did I play? You know, that bag over there that contained whatever, you know, yes, when I came out of my house this morning, I saw it there. What did I do about it? You know, did I alert the authorities? Did I alert the agencies? You know, did I put my friends and family in a position of safety whilst the said persons were called upon to come and act upon my call? You know, these are all acts of responsibility. You know, do I know the right protocols? Do I know the right phone calls to make? Do I know this? Do I have the knowledge of that? Do I follow current affairs? Do I listen to things that's going on in the media, you know, on social media, in the newspapers, in periodicals? Do I read enough books? You know, not just books on how to make money, but books on how to stay safe. Because I know that a lot of people today, if you put two books on the table, one of them is on how to make money and the other one is how to stay safe, I'm pretty sure that the one to make money will become a bestseller, right? But the one concerned with staying safe will be on the shelf because, you know, well, as far as everybody's concerned, yes, we have police, we have soldiers, we have security officers out there who that's their job. You know, my job is to make money. Yes, all of our jobs is to make money, right? Because without money, you know, we can't exist. The money makes the world go round, we know. But the question is this, right? What is more expensive than life? You know, can money buy life? You know, can money buy life? As one of the songs says, money can't even buy love, right? It buys attention, right? But the question you need to ask yourself is this: what attention do you want? Do you want good attention or do you want bad attention? Because I tell you what, money can buy both, right? Good attention is that you've got money, and business-wise, you know, it will attract good attention in the sense that people will want to work with you because they know that you've got the money to either bankroll a project or for them to come in and put their money with yours for the both of you to bankroll a major project. Yes, we know that. That's good money. That's good attention. But then bad attention is you've got money and the wrong type of miscreants will come targeting you and your family because they want you to give it to them by force. So if you enact your sense of responsibility to your environment and your community, you are making the job of security agents and agencies a lot more easy. This is why the word responsibility is so big. It is so massive, and we could go on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I'm gonna call Master Genie back in, right? Master Genie, update me a bit more on with what we've said so far and how far we've got. Please give me your take so far on a lot of the things that we've said. Thank you very much, Master Genie. As always, for me, you always seem to come through with a lot of good points. Now, one of the things that I would like to put out there, as I said earlier on, security is a shared responsibility that underpins our ability to deliver humanitarian outcomes. Now, as I said, as I've said, and as Master Genie has just pointed out, in depth, we can't be reliant on others around us to keep us secure and safe, right? It is our collective responsibility. There is no single agency, there's no single cluster or partner, that can manage risk on their own. Right? Coordination is very, very essential. In everything that we do, we have to ensure that everything is coordinated. It looks right, it feels right, and in most cases, it probably is right, but we as an entity have to ensure that things are done properly, right? Security is not just IT, right? It includes staff safety, data protection, and operational continuity, right? Meaning that you whatever you do today, try and ensure that you do it again tomorrow. You make a pattern, right? But don't do the same pattern. Vary your patterns so that people don't get the opportunity to know what your next move is going to be. Security is like a chess game. It's like a game of chess, a game of drafts. You have to basically try as best possible to outthink your opponent. Right? Because in the world of security, as far as I'm concerned, with my years in the game, everybody is a suspect. Sorry to say this, but everybody is a suspect. When there's a crime committed, nobody is ruled out. Right? At this junction, I'm going to call in Dr. Shikayo, because he's just come in, and I don't get to speak with him that often. And he's one of my brothers in the game. He's a colleague. A comrade in the clusters and everything, and I'd like to get his take on what we know as responsibility, security-wise, in our communities, in our clusters, in our fields, and in our spheres. Dr. Shi, good morning, first of all, and how are you?
Good morning, sir. It's been a long time. I've been very busy. Sorry, I couldn't make it.
Oh, that's okay.
The notification most of the time.
We understand.
As much as possible to come. But the way what.
Oh yes, definitely.
Just trying to put strings and let things work. Okay. Thank you for the honor, sir. Responsibility as per security, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in your community, wherever you find yourself, what do we entitle responsibility? A lot of people just think, like the last speaker spoke, that you could just dabble into security. In fact, it's one of the overused words when you talk about Nigerian system as a whole. Somebody could just come in, get uniform sewn this today without any prior training or knowledge, and you push that very person to become a security officer. And the rudiment or the ABC of security doesn't even understand it. And he doesn't even understand his own responsibility and what he's entitled for. And no wonder in many cases, when incidents happen, they don't own up to it. Because it is what you understand as your responsibility that you'll be able to own up to when things go wrong. So, in security, the main responsibility of the person that is tasked with the security is to ensure that it works. I don't know whether you get that, because in most cases we are used to giving job to security personnel and still be you call a person to be a security expert in what you're doing. You don't allow him to have the responsibility of doing that. You are still going to tell him this is what you need to do, this is how you do it. If you know what to do and how to do, what's the essence of bringing him in the first place? But they want to prove to you that, okay, who pays the piper dictate the tune? And that's one thing that doesn't work with security.
Mhm.
You don't dictate the tune. He is an expert in that field. You don't go to school and tell the teacher how to teach your child algebra.
That's very true.
You allow the teacher to do the job. You don't go to the theater,
Mhm.
sit with the doctor and telling the doctor that's no way to make incision. That's no way to do incision. But in security, that's what I found most absurd. That imagine calling someone and still be dictating the plan of what to do.
Yeah.
What's the responsibility of that man? Because the moment that man takes that job, your life, everything that has to do with you is in his hand.
Mhm.
He is an expert in that field. He must determine what to do as per what time and whichever method he deems feasible
Mhm.
to do it.
Mhm.
In most cases, when we watch American movie, you will even see superstar.
Mhm.
So that's why I say it's not peculiar to Nigeria alone. Even in American movie, you will see superstar arguing with their security.
Yeah.
But you are not permitted to go out today, sir. It's not safe over there. He said I can do whatever I like to do. And in the next moment, bullets are flying around and then he's dodging and crying.
Mhm.
This is the same person that was boldly pushing out the chest a few minutes ago and telling the man to go to hell. He doesn't care. He want to do things by himself. So responsibility for you as a security personnel is just like what you call the duty of care in health.
Yep.
You must understand that you owe the duty of care to protect with everything as far as reasonably practicable, even to the extent sometime of your life.
That's correct.
Which is what the security personnel do.
Mhm.
So you must, the responsibility means you are charged. You are not only in control, you are in charge.
Mhm.
Being in control and being in charge are two different things.
That's
You
correct.
can be in charge and never be in control.
That's right.
What they do in some of those people with security is they want you to be in charge, but they want to be in control.
Yeah.
It's just like a Christian singing a song, take my life and let it be.
Mhm.
You've asked somebody to take your life and I now say, let it be.
Yeah.
It can't be.
That's right.
It will be on its own accord.
Mhm.
Don't tell him he's only going to be consecrated for his life. He can do whatever he likes with it. He's taking my life, and what he's taking, it determines.
Mhm.
That's the essence of whoever pays the piper.
That's
In
right.
that moment, you are not paying the piper, is the one now dictating the tune.
Mhm.
So the responsibility that is first associated with security is for you to understand that you, as a personnel, the moment you sign the dotted line for that contract, all fault, all blame, all success is ascribed to you.
Mhm.
Whether you succeed or fail is not going to be entirely on another person. You don't have any right. It's only the bad workmanship that blames it too.
That's correct.
You don't have any right to start telling people that, okay, right now, it was because of this. No, that must have been in your feasibility study. That must have been in everything that you have to do. You must have ensured that you weigh the pros and the cons and you understand the intricacy of what you are going into. So when you get to that level, then you, as a person, understand that you are solely, as they put the word, solely responsible. As long as you are given you are given the leverage to work, then you are solely responsible for whatever is happening. So that's number one thing, the responsibility. Number two thing is for those who employ you to understand that they also have a responsibility, and the responsibility is to listen to you and to follow the instruction that you are giving unto them. In most cases in Nigeria, we don't understand that. Take for an example, when some of our politicians are in posts, they don't understand that their security officer is far more important to them than their title and the.
That's correct. Oh yes, definitely. Definitely.
They don't understand that, sir. They want to prove that I am the chief executive officer.
Yep.
I am the number one citizen.
Yep.
Sir, you are number one citizen as long as you are alive.
That's correct. That is so correct.
The shout, the praises according to you is not for you, it's for that seat. If you are not on seat, you will not sit on that seat. Then that so when they bow, when the siren goes on, when people run around, please look at yourself and realize that it is not me. It is the position conviction and bonding.
That's correct.
It is that truth that I'm sitting upon. It is that power that has been given to me by the rule of law.
That's correct.
Respect not me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember before our lead president died, Buhari,
mm-hmm.
he was walking in Daura just with 2 people around him. This is the same person that have fleets of car like 100, 200 moving around wherever he's going.
Mm-hmm.
I could make a reference to President Obasanjo the other time when he was traveling out at the airport. The man carries his bag. This is somebody that the only airport will be shut down for when he was in a position. So you, as the person that is employing a security personnel, your own responsibility is to understand that the moment you sign the dotted line for you, it becomes number one.
Mm-hmm.
And you become a subject as far as security is concerned. You might be powerful than him. With a click of your finger, you might be able to remove or do anything to him. But when your security is being mentioned, it's far more important than you, irrespective of the position where you are holding.
Mm-hmm.
So I will not take too much time. I look at it on the aspect of the person that is giving the job to you, and you that you are giving the job to for him to do. Each one of you must understand your responsibility. Don't go beyond your power. Accept the fact that in every areas of life there are hierarchy. In the area of security, your security expert is higher than you in knowledge, in understanding, and in ability to be able to perform functions. You might be the number one citizen of Nigeria, but you are less important in the eyes of your security personnel because all he is interested in is your safety.
That's correct. That's correct.
It's in your safety, not your position.
That's correct.
It's ensuring that you go out and you come back safe. And that's why you must understand that there is what we call experts in areas of work. He is an expert in that field. If you are able to do what is he, then you will not have hired him in the
That's
first
correct.
place. Thank you, everyone.
Definitely. Definitely.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Dr. Sheehy. You see, Dr. Sheehy has just highlighted a point that I've made so many times in the past, especially where my people, in Africa and in Nigeria are concerned. Yes, we do see it in certain other parts of the world, but it's not as pronounced as it is in Africa. And that is the fact that people seem to believe because they've got a lot of money and they hired you to do the job. The job I refer to is security, that therefore they tell you what to do and you do it. But unfortunately, what people seem to forget is the fact that, yes, you hired me, but I am essentially in charge of what goes on with what goes on, basically. And this is what people, have still yet to grasp. As a security professional, what people need to understand is this: if you hire me to come and look after you, what you've got to do is you have to respect my position. And what is my position? My position is basically your eyes and ears, right? And as your eyes and ears, I basically have to ensure that your every move is the right move, right? Your every utterance is the right utterance. I basically, if I could, have to jump into your body, right, and walk you around the way I want you to walk. Why? Because of the fact that with my years of experience, with my knowledge of what goes on where and when, I have to steer you into the right direction, right? And that's what this is all about. Your awareness. My responsibility to you at that time is to ensure that you get from point A to point Z in the time you're supposed to get there. You understand? Because why? I am responsible and answerable to everything that goes on with and around you. And that is basically it, and this is why educating ourselves in the aspects of like it, as you can see in my field now, and with what we're talking about here, personal security, right, is that I need everybody to understand, right? And I know that you know, as time goes on, and as a lot of, you know, as even though I know that a lot of people do log on to this channel, that we have to understand it is not easy to be a security officer, whether you're male or female. There are loads of challenges, so many challenges, but we need to jump on board and understand that me telling you what to do, or me asking you to do something, is not me trying to tell you or show you that, yes, I'm good at what I do. No, it's basically me trying to keep you safe. It's me trying to feed you with the knowledge that you need in order to get on with whatever it is you need to get on with. You know, basically, it's me saying to you, you do what you're doing and leave the rest to me and my team, right? Because when you entrust me, like when you come up to me and you are, you know, I sign a deal with you to look after you. That is basically me saying to you, right, everything from here on in, right, it's going to be just fine. You just keep doing what you're doing. Just, you know, don't even think about the fact that I'm here. But at the same time, respect my position and don't try to tell me how to do my job, because I was doing it before I met you, and I was doing it so well that you had to come and ask me to come and work for you and with you. So that's why I like to use the phrase, yes, you're the boss, but I'm in charge. At this junction, I am now going to call His Excellency Dr. Badmus, because I'm sure he's been listening. And yes, at the same time, I welcome on board Fatty Grace, that is Clusterian Grace to Grace on the global clusters. She's a real estate mogul. She's doing her thing over in the United Kingdom. So yes, I'm going to call His Excellency Dr. Adekunle Badmus to talk to us about responsibility. Once again, you know, so that people can get a bigger, because Dr. Badmus has a massive responsibility with regards to being the head honcho of the global clusters worldwide. He is the president. He is an ambassador. So obviously he gets to meet with people on a massive scale. And of course, as you probably are all well aware now, that, you know, from here on in, whenever I'm in town, you know, I am going to be stuck to him like glue, because I am his CSO, Chief Security Officer. I'm his 001 Global Security Clusters, and the team around him are due to be solidly grounded in the art of personal security, where all of the 001s are concerned and all dignitaries that come to functions are concerned, because that is the goal. So yes, Dr. Badmus, if you are available to us, please, we'd like to hear your voice once again, and let's talk about more responsibility where security is concerned within our global community. Dr. Badmus.
Thank you very much, Colonel Michael GBENGA. Retired. I really appreciate you so well. He sent me something, and that thing, you know, I said, no, this is massive. The uniform of the global security cluster of the global cluster. I saw it, I was like, wow. I already saw the future. Honestly, the global security clusters is to the world.
Oh,
and
yes.
I want to start calling people out right now. Let us make sure we give it the right support that it needs. And I can tell you, one thing I want to push to the limelight even this year is the global security clusters. Immediately you arrive, even before you arrive, even after this live meetings that we're doing right now, I need us to start registering Clear Cross Group as a pilot company to support the global security cluster, because the global security cluster is going to be registered as a foundation, and Clear Cross Group is going to register as a business that will drive the global security cluster of the global clusters, just like the Goodmost Investment Limited is driving the project ARE. So that is the same way we're going to have it. And I'm super excited, because we're creating a continent where all of these clusters are like nations in the continent.
That's right.
And it's a no-brainer. It's a real deal that the global security clusters have a lot to do, And myself as the global president, I will definitely do my best to ensure that I make sure I do my best to make sure that everything that is needed is actually provided. People needed the like mind. I've met some generals while I'm in Abuja here. I have their contact. They will be part of it. Part of it. They'll equally be part of it. So it's a no-brainer. The responsibility is everyone's responsibility. Let us get our people that are in security line to start along with our own, the son of the soil, our own retired Colonel Michael Benga OSHIN. This big bro, I love him so much that I want to make sure that the global security cluster starts flying immediately, because it's something that I don't want to joke with. It's something that I don't want to joke with. I want to make sure that the global security cluster have its place in the society, in Nigeria, in every state, in every nation in Africa. So in every state in Africa. So I want to make sure that we do all that we need to do to make sure that everything goes well. I want to say special thanks to you for doing what you're doing. The last time I researched your name, I can see that Let's Talk Security with retired Colonel Michael Benga OSHIN is there. And I know a lot of Nigerians, from my conversation with some generals within the week, I see that a lot of Nigerians are really willing to make sure that Nigeria is a better place and Africa is a better place. So we are ready. We are going to be responsible. We're going to preach the responsibility of security in Nigeria and in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Now, we're going to wrap. We're going to wrap up soon, but I've got a few points that I want to put out there to each and every one of us today. Now, today we've talked about responsibility, right? We need to focus, I believe, first and foremost on shared principles, right? Now, shared principle, as I said earlier on, security is a shared responsibility that underpins our ability to deliver humanitarian outcomes, right? And I cannot emphasize it strongly enough that it's not the responsibility of any single cluster agency or partner, right? Because none of those can manage the risk alone. We have to coordinate, right? We have to translate security into their operational realities, right? By that, I mean security is not just it or IT. It includes staff safety, data protection, and operational continuity. That means you've got to look out for all those things that you might feel are wrong or out of place or weren't there yesterday, are there today, data irregularities, that goes as far as your bank accounts, your email accounts, your social media accounts. Have you been hacked? Have you updated your passwords lately? Those kind of things, because in complex settings, weak security can disrupt aid delivery, expose vulnerable populations, and damage trust, because somebody might have hacked you and put somebody that you know's name on the hack. You understand? How well do you know the people that you associate with? You might say, when we talk about security, we're talking about protecting people, safeguarding data, and ensuring uninterrupted assistance. Well, this is true. This is true. This is very, very true. You know, with your vigilance, right, your act of responsibility could save a lot of people a lot of heartache, right? We've also got to reinforce the shared responsibility model, right? That is making roles clear without being over technical, you know, on a global level, right? Let's set standards, right? Let's have guidance and coordination frameworks, you know. At the cluster level, let's ensure consistent implementation. Sorry, bear with me. Just keeping the TikTok people online. Right, yes, on a cluster level, let's ensure consistent implementation and information sharing. You know, whatever we believe is important to the world at large, or, you know, our community at large, let's keep them informed. You know, on a business level, let's partner, you know, with NGOs and local actors, apply security practices in our day-to-day operations. You know, like I said earlier on, right? When you wake up in the morning, when you leave your house, you know, what do you do, right? How have you varied it? You know, how have you varied it? How have you made it slightly different to what you did yesterday? Where have you made yourself not look so predictable? You understand, right? Security responsibilities are distributed, but accountability is collective, right? These are the things that we need to look into, right? And use them as watchwords. Use that, even, you can, you know what? You could actually use that as a mantra, right? You could use that as a mantra. Security responsibilities are distributed, right? But accountability is collective, right? You can choose to do something a certain way, right? But if I have a way of doing things, His Excellency has a way of doing things, Philip has a way of doing things, Grace to Grace has a way of doing things, Ola Yinka has a way of doing things, Ade has a way of doing things, Ibuye has a way of doing things, you know, Master Genie has a way of doing things, Dr. Shi has a way of doing things, right? If we bring all of these things together, right, collectively, we are indestructible, right? Let's focus on practical actions, not just principles, right? Because communities respond best to actionable guidance, right? Communities respond best to actionable, because you know what? It's easy for me to take up a soapbox and say, yes, vote for me as the next president, you know, because I promise you I will do this and I promise you I will do that, right? But if most of what I say is not actionable, right, and it just sounds good, right, then obviously you're going to lose faith in me and you're going to lose faith in what I do, right? So by saying that, let's promote basic security hygiene, you know, that is access control, secure data communications, and data handling, right? Who have you put in charge of certain places and certain areas and what with and in what you do? Can you trust them? Are they trustworthy? You know, or have you just put them there because you and them went to school together, you know, and you like them? They're your, you know, you've grown up together. You know what? We grow up together, right? Me and you could be out of touch for a year to 10 years. And 24 hours is a long time, right? In that time, I could have been getting up to all sorts that you don't know about, right? I could be involved with people and entities that you don't know about, right? But because we're friends, you take it for granted that, yeah, well, you know, what could possibly go wrong? Well, my brothers, my sisters, my friends, my colleagues, my comrades, a lot can go wrong in 24 hours, right? It only takes a minute to get influenced by someone who's got a sweet tongue, right? I view a lot of people, I mean, I'm a Christian, and I say to a lot of people, I view a lot of pastors as salesmen, right? I view them as salesmen because they sell you a vision of paradise, right? But for you to get that vision of paradise, all you have to do is sow a seed, right? And you'll get some pastors who are extreme and they will tell you, well, the God that they serve is not a God of $1. right? The God that they serve starts from $50 or $100. Now, that sounds good, but you'll find that you eventually go through life waiting and waiting and waiting for when the door of that paradise is going to open for you to go in there and enjoy everything that you've been sold. So when you are encouraging information sharing, right, you know, and you're sharing risks and incidents across clusters, right, take a moment to step back and look at where you went wrong, right? Take a look at where you went wrong. You know, as the old adage goes, an old person trips up and looks back, right? They look back at where they went wrong. What went wrong with this idea? And this is why in today's vision of global security, right, that has been brought up by His Excellency Dr. Badmus, right, and brought my humble self into the frame as the head of the security department. What I want to see going forward, my responsibility to you, right, is to let you know that I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for consistency in applying core security practices across all sectors, right? Because listen, you can buy a parcel of land, right? But with my little knowledge of Nigeria, you could buy one parcel of land and by tomorrow, if you haven't done something on it, someone else has bought that same parcel of land. Did you secure your land? Did you secure yourself? Right? These are questions that you need to ask. You know, you got to emphasize risk management, not risk elimination. Right? These are things that we all have to look at. Right? These are things that we all have to understand. You know, if you don't understand it, ask questions. If you can't find someone to ask questions, ask Google. Right? Google is always there and ready to give you answers to the questions that you do not understand. Right? Let us nourish or nourish our brains, our minds, and our thinking. Right? Because listen, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, friends and colleagues, the world is waiting for nobody. Right? It is waiting for nobody. I know that we live in a world today of two different types of people, those who want to know and those who want to remain ignorant. Right? But you know what happens when ignorant people find that things have gone wrong and they want to give the excuse that they didn't know. And that very well-known saying comes around that ignorance is no excuse. Right? So we need to wake up to the fact that the world is turning and we are moving on as a people. So avoid unrealistic expectations. Acknowledge that risk is inherent in humanitarian work. Right? Position security as risk reduction and informed decision making. Right? Because our objective, not mine, our objective, remember I said something about collective, right? Our objective is not to eliminate risk, but to understand it and manage it responsibly. Right? So, yes, you know, there's every likelihood that something may and could go wrong. But here's the question. If and when it goes wrong, if and when there's a breach, if and when something doesn't go to plan, how do you manage it? How do you do your, what can I call it? Damage control. How do you do it? Right? How do you do it? Right? How do we highlight the human impact? Right? Because well, at least I know that I do. I tie security directly to the beneficiaries, right? Because poor security can lead to data breaches, aid diversion, or harm to affected populations, right? These are things that over the decades of working in the field, one comes to realize and one comes to see firsthand, right? Strong security, on the other hand, builds trust with communities and donors, right? You know, because security is ultimately about protecting the people we serve, not just the systems we use. Excuse me. Now, when, let's say for argument's sake, Dr. Badmus decides, okay, fine, you know what, Clear Cross Global is the official security agency looking after everything and anything to do with the global clusters as a community. So that means that Dr. Shi has an event, he calls Clear Cross Group. Dr. Badmus has an event, obviously he's going to call Clear Cross Group. Master Genie has an event, he calls Clear Cross Group. Philip has an event, he calls Clear Cross Group. But at each of these events, right, we don't deliver because, you know, my guys, instead of them keeping their eyes peeled or taking note of things or blending in with the crowd and observing and being aware of what's going on, they're on their phones or on their iPads, or they're chatting up the lady next to them because she looks good in a short skirt or a short dress, you know, or she goes to the gym regularly. She's got a fantastic looking body and a lot of personality to go with it, and things go out of hand. And at the end of the day, after we've contained the situation, we have to give reports. What are we going to do? And how are we going to do it? Right? How can you account for thousands and thousands of currency worth of jewelry going missing, or a massive piece of equipment going missing, whilst the organizers of the event know that they contracted X amount of personnel to secure that event, and they paid lots and lots of money to these entities to do such? Right? How do you defend, or how do I defend as the HOD or the 001 of that particular entity, right? How do I defend my apparently trained, qualified, and certified staff for the fact that there's been a massive security breach? And it was one so simple, right? To the effect that all they really had to do was stop and possibly search certain individuals, take notes, right? Monitor CCTV or something like that, right? And that would have prevented a whole lot of heartache, right? Now, I want us all to take this away and think about it over the next 6 days, because I'm coming back again next week. You know, we're going to talk about something totally, well, not totally different, but on the same sphere, but moving slightly forward, because the global security clusters is about to be launched. This is pre-launch now, right? We've had all the good stuff, you know, all the laughs and the giggles. Now we're moving into serious business, right? Because, you know, we are about to join forces with the NSCDC in Nigeria. We're about to join forces with the Nigerian police. We're about to join forces with the chiefs of military staffs in Nigeria. We're about to join forces with the federal government. We are about to join forces with you, right? Because why? We all need to have that knowledge. We all need to be educated in what security is really about. Now, we are gonna. I want to bring this to a close by just asking you, right, to encourage cross-cluster alignment and share learning, right, and invite ownership from all stakeholders. Now, I am inviting, and I want Dr. Badmus, please, if you can take note of this and push this out there to all of the clusters out there, all of the stakeholders in the global clusters and in the Spark Hubs. I want you to push it out there that I am trying to encourage cross-cluster alignment and shared learning where security is concerned. I want to invite ownership from all of the stakeholders. And I am just going to say this. If we align on shared responsibilities and commit to consistent practices, we strengthen not just our systems, but the impact of our collective response, right? Because security is a shared responsibility across all clusters and partners. It's not just about systems. It's about protecting people, data, and our ability to deliver aid. We can't eliminate risk, but we can manage it better through coordination, minimum standards, and consistent practices. Ultimately, strong security enables stronger humanitarian outcomes. I want to thank everybody. This has been absolutely beautiful today. I have, I hope I've managed, as they say in Nigerian literary and debating societies, I would like to hope and pray that I have convinced and not confused you in putting across to you our collective responsibility where security is concerned in our homes, our lives, and our communities. That is both global clusters and any other entity or community that we belong to. Now, before I go, I would like to call on Ade. I'd like to welcome you because I know you came in a little late, and you came in while I started to really get going, and I was seriously vibrating here. I'd like to call Ade. I'd like your submission, please, even if it's just a 2 or 3 minute, even a 5-minute submission on what you have heard and what you think your responsibility could or should be where security is concerned in your community and your entities. Ade?
Well, let me just get quickly to it. Like I just put down in my writing, security is our individual and collective responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
For me, having worked with the UN and the banks, I've had several trainings on that to be sure that, when I'm driving, I make sure that I keep on looking at my mirror and kind of notice whoever is trailing me while driving, and what to do when I notice that, at home to, ensure that, when you see someone howling around your community, like walking up and down, you keep on noticing that, the person does that almost every day, then you should be alert and try to, tell they say in an estate, try to inform the securities there about the guy or woman that is noticed, parading your street every now and then, because they might just be understudying someone to know when, to understand the person's timing and then, attack. So all those, so for us individually, we need to know what to watch out for. We need to be security alert, particularly this time in Nigeria where people are kidnapped, and be also careful about information we give out while outside your home, in public places, what to say and not to say, and what to watch out for and not, So yeah, security is everyone's responsibility, whether you like it or not. You have to be very, very careful nowadays. We're in the, like I always tell people, we're in the end times and it's getting harder every day. So yeah, security, we need to be intentional about it. And we need also to carry our children, grandchildren, friends, and family along, and let them know what, because a lot of people are kind of naive and don't know certain things, certain security alerts. That much I would say. I hope, like you said earlier, I've been able to convince and not confuse you guys.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
over
Thank you
now.
so much. It's actually a pleasure to hear from you again. For those of you who don't know Ade, she is she's very versed in security matters. She's worked alongside the UN, and I met up with her last week, and I think it's going to be an absolute pleasure working with her on projects when I come to Nigeria, because as I keep saying, people try to accuse people like myself of living abroad and telling people in Nigeria how it goes, but we, myself and Shola, Ade Shola, we are those people who are looking to travel, or she's already there, but I'm another person who's looking to travel back to my father's country to try as best possible to make a difference and bring awareness. So once again, thank you, Ade, for your contribution. Olayinka, I'm going to bring you back in. I need you to give me at least a 3 to 5 minute summary on everything that you've heard here on the platform today, because I like to know that people understand a little bit of what we're talking about. But yeah, give me your your summary or your summation on responsibility today. Alaika?
With everything we've been saying since about security, I really enjoyed today's topic,
Excellent.
and I enjoyed what you also talk about the responsibility of the security. Then I see that we too will try our best. We use this, we try our best to make this security to work, to be a great thing for us, especially to we Nigerians. We really need it. We really, really need this security, the responsibility of this security. We really need it. The security is also talking to we Nigerians that are here. So, to me, I like we should try our best for that security, because last week, Saturday, I also joined the same thing. I also learned some things about that security. So the ideas and the interesting things he said today, it really helped. I understand a lot. So I see that we need more on this security.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm going to call Clusterian Grace to Grace to give me a 3 to 5 minute summary on what she's heard. Clusterian Grace to Grace, obviously, as I said earlier on, she does property and real estate. But obviously, as we all know, even in property and real estate, security is very, very important, because in countries like Nigeria, where you buy land, it's possible that if you don't do anything on it, your land goes missing. But if you have secured your land, or you've got security in place, and as a community, we are vigilant to what's going on around us, to know that somebody who is planning or is doing something on that land shouldn't be there. We work together. Remember I said earlier on about collaboration. So Clusterian Grace to Grace, give me your summary on today's topic, which is responsibility. Clusterian Grace? Unmute. There she goes. Hello? Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of network fluctuation here.
Okay. Yeah, just give us a quick summary of your view on responsibility.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, give us even if it's 2 minutes, just give us a 2-minute summary on your view on responsibility.
Okay. Well, I've been in and out of network at the moment. So, but I'll try my best. I'm driving on a dual carriageway right now.
Okay.
So I hope that you guys will be able to hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, to be honest, I will just back everything that everyone has been saying. I don't think I have any new thing to add, except for the fact that, like you said, like we always agreed on, security is our responsibility, and we cannot stop talking about it because of the state that our country is right now. And to be honest and to be fair, even in the what's it called, advanced countries, they still get it wrong. So we can't say because they are, and I'm not talking about only the people in Nigeria here at the moment. I'm talking about anywhere that anybody may be listening to this podcast or to this meeting right now. That security is everyone's responsibility. There was a period of time here that the campaign is always going on, and even it's still going on. It's just not as much as before. That security is everyone's responsibility. If we go into underground, bus station, metro, train, you still hear it every second. See it, say it, and what else do they use? You see it, you say it, and and sort it.
Mhm.
So that's also part of part of security, and we are even talking about advanced country here, let alone in Nigeria that there's well, I don't want, let's just say you are on your own.
Mhm.
So we have to collaborate even more, to help each other to see, to say, and to sort it. That is all that I will add. I don't want to repeat what everyone have already said.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Clusterian Grace to Grace. At this junction, I'm going to call Philip. Philip, give me your summary on how you feel about today's topic, responsibility. Philip. Philip, are you there? Hello, Philip. Okay, if Philip is indisposed, Master Genie, over to you, sir. Give me your 5 minutes of how you feel that responsibility in today's market concerns all of us collectively. Thank you very much, Master Genie. Much appreciated. I think Philip is back now. So, Philip, give me your submission.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Give me your submission on
Okay, sir.
today's topic,
My
responsibility.
phone was hanging the other time, so I
Yes,
have
I kind
to
of gathered.
go
Yeah,
out and come in again.
when I saw you went out and came back in, I knew that's what the problem was. Yeah, so Philip, give me your submission.
Yeah,
Yes, give me
yeah.
your.
My submission for today training is very impactful and is very deep because, like you said, there is a personal awareness, security, personal awareness on security. So it's very deep. It covers almost all the areas of our life. You know, the community aspect of it. You spoke about that, the individual life and our well-being. You spoke about that, and you spoke about even up to the digital world, our digital space, because most of us we are on the internet.
Mhm.
So we need to even be careful of this that we do. We need to be aware. So even up to our bank accounts and every other thing. So you and to the large economy, even as a nation. So today security training is deep and I've learned a lot. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you very much. Now, what I'm going to ask of you before I bring His Excellency on to close us down is that you know, we've had this today, and it's only going to get better, right? It's going to get better. It's going to get deeper over the next 30 days. You know, I'm going to be on here. You know, prior to my entry back into Nigeria, right? And I want to try as best I can to open up our eyes, ears, and minds into the fact that security concerns every last one of us, you know. And whilst I'm doing that, I want you all to share this to today's session. I want you to invite people in on a Saturday to come in. And I love hearing from other people. You know, I don't like just listening to my own voice. You know, yes, I've lived it, I've worked in it, you know, and now I believe that security is part and parcel of who I am. You understand? But I would like you to share it out there. Bring more people in. I want to hear from other people because I know that I'm not the only person in the world who's ever done security. I'm not the only person in the world who's ever been in the military. I'm not the only person in the world who's ever been in the armed forces. You know, I want other people to come in, right, and share, right, with us, you know, their experiences, their views, their opinions. You know, so you know, as you all know, I'm here every single Saturday morning at the same time. You know, hopefully with some of the same people, you know, listening to and sharing life experiences and personal experiences in our world of security. Now, having said that, I want to bring back in my boss, my brother, you know, the man who made all of this possible, His Excellency, Dr. Adekunle Badmus, to give us his submission and then to close us down. Dr. Badmus, are you there?
And I'll be closing today's meeting by asking, who are we? We are a consortium of professionals or aspiring professionals, technocrats or aspiring technocrats, entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, where we share accurate knowledge of our industry. Why? Because it gives us the right power. Accurate information, because that's the brief to where we are and where we want to be. Accurate connection, because to whom we are connected to determine what we collect. We're not just a social media platform, the marketplace with the best monetization on earth. We are the first nation building social media platform on earth. Proudly Nigeria, proudly Africa to the world. Our mantra is MAGA, make Africa great again. And in every country, we have this unique mantra. For instance, in Nigeria, we have MAGA, make Africa and Nigeria great again. In Ghana, make Africa and Ghana great again. In Cameroon, make Africa and Cameroon great again. Join us on the Spark Up. If you're using a Google Play, if you're using an iOS, you go to your Safari, you type www.sparkups.org. But if you're using an Android phone, go to your Google Play Store, type Spark Ups. We are currently going on 1 billion digital literacy. We have an opportunity for organic fertilizers.
We have opportunity for Project ARE. We have SEBO for all the technical people. We have Remedy Earth for green energy for the whole of Africa. Join us and let us build our father's plan. Become a nation builder through us. I want to urge everyone to support the 001 Global Security Cluster of the Global Clusters in the person of Sir Michael GBENGA OSHIN, retired colonel, so that we can take the security cluster from where it is right now to where it ought to be. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, everybody. I'll see you again next Saturday. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.